I'm gonna need all you non-Chicago ass people to keep Chicago's name the fuck out your raggedy ass mouths. And stop using my city as clickbait to get likes and views and followers. Yes, ICE raided a building here in the South Shore neighborhood. No, they are not coming for black people. Backtrack and tell the whole story or pipe the down. They moved thousands of so-called illegal immigrants into mostly black neighborhoods. They live right next door to most of us. So yes, when they raid looking for them, they're going to raid the entire building. All of the black Americans that were grabbed were let go. The so-called illegal gangbangers that they were looking for were not. They were detained. So all you Hispanics and Latinos that's using this as a gotcha moment, it ain't one, and it still ain't our fight. And all you lame-ass black creators and other creators that are using this as clickbait and to get likes and views and shit, shut the up. Since this administration took over, they've been trying to goad black people out into the street so that this ass lame ass bum ass president can declare martial law. And guess the what? We still ain't coming outside.
At this point, if you are still saying that you're not coming outside, I'm convinced that you have never been outside a day in your life, because you are not about that life and you have never been about that life. And that's fine. Just stop pretending that your fear is strategy, because guess what? They will still come and get you from inside your home. Just ask Breonna Taylor, ask Botham Jean, ask Sonia Massey, ask every innocent black person that was murdered inside their home, their own home, by state-sanctioned violence. The fact that you can look right at what they're doing in Chicago, black people being dragged out of their homes in the middle of the night.
I've never had a gun put in my face. They asked my name and my date of birth and asked me did I have any warrants, and I told them no, I didn't.
She says she was then handcuffed and released around 3 a.m.
Racially profiled, naked children being zip-tied, detained for hours, and probably traumatized for the rest of their lives.
I was out there crying when I seen the little girl come around the corner. Because they was bringing the kids out too, had them zip-tied to each other. That's all I kept asking, where's the morality?
And still have the nerve to say, black people aren't the target. Be serious. Now you're just doing backflips to justify your cowardice.
Budget trucks and military-style vans were used to separate parents from their children. Other neighbors say they saw agents destroying property to get in the building.
And they had a big 15-inch chainsaw with a round blade on it, cutting this fence down. We're under siege. We're being invaded by our own military.
Citizen App video shows the chaotic scene overnight. Neighbors tell us there were dozens of ICE agents. Neighbors like Ebony Watson says they ducked for cover as they heard several flashbangs go off.
They was terrified. The kids was crying. People was screaming.
If you can honestly look at that and you're okay with the racial profiling, the home invasions, the state-sanctioned violence, the lifelong trauma, and still say this is not our fight, you're not neutral, you're just spineless. We're not gathering for a farmer's market. We're fighting fascism. We're watching democracy fall in real time. Fighting for your freedom is brutal. It's exhausting and it is dangerous. And freedom has never been won from the comfort of a couch. I hope that besides getting on your platform and yelling that we're not coming outside, that you're doing other things to help, like boycotting, mutual aid, grassroots organizing, and you're using your platform to encourage others to do the same thing. But make sure you're doing something and stop acting like your apathy is activism. We are not our ancestors. I used to hate that saying because it's disrespectful, but now I get it, because our ancestors were brave. They were built different. And some of y'all are built like your ancestors, because a lot of y'all had cowards for ancestors. And it shows. My ancestors were way too badass. I already know that I do not measure up, even though I practically live outside. But we are living through our government being taken over. Hiding in fear won't save you and has never won a battle. And it will not win you your freedom either. So if you're too scared to come outside, fine. We heard you the first 50 times you said it. Cool. Stay inside because the rest of us are working. But I will say that I believe that the people who put us in this mess need to be on the front lines. Latinos for Trump, Black MAGA, farmers for Trump, and of course, privileged white folks always ready to play savior, never ready to save themselves.
Can you imagine how angry people are simply because Black Americans are choosing not to go to jail just because some people wouldn't vote in their own best interest? The Hispanic community, white women, white men, they all voted against their own self-best interest. They voted for this administration, and now everything is happening as it's happening because of their vote. But now they want to turn around and call out Black Americans for choosing peace over protest. Yeah, Black Americans have been telling people that this is not our fight. Black Americans creators have been telling their own community, this is not our fight. We did our part on November 5th, and people are really mad about that. I've seen people creating videos and calling out Black Americans. But what surprised me the most is about these biracial content creator that have been following for quite a long time. And honestly speaking, her content have always been about positivity when it comes to Black Americans. She's always been supporting Black Americans. She's always been calling out all the negative things and negative content creators and all the stereotypes that have been said out there. She's been educating people about the Black American history and whatever Black Americans have to endure and keep enduring in the United States of America. But this time she crossed the line when she called a Black woman a coward, just simply because this woman was telling her community that they did their part on November 5th. And that's the truth. It's not like they're lying. Black people did their part on November 5th. They voted for a leader that had the best at heart for each and every other American citizen, including these illegal immigrants. But so many people actually felt Black Americans. So many people felt the United States of America, because everything that is now happening, it's the vote that people voted. It's how people voted. It's the leader that people chose. With all these policies, with the mass deportation, with all these layoffs that are actually happening with federal workers and everything that's happening, the tariffs, life getting expensive, it's all because of how people voted. And you know, it's crazy and very hypocritical calling out Black Americans simply because they're saying we are not going to jail for something that we did not do. We're just gonna sit here and relax and wait. Black Americans say they're on vacation and people are getting angry for them not wanting to go out there and protest. It's crazy, guys. I want us to watch some of these few videos of Black Americans and other people that actually called her out for this hypocrisy. Every clip and every stitch that you'll be seeing on this episode, credits belongs to the original creators of these videos that you're seeing on your screen. So let's just dive right ahead and we'll come back with more commentary. Remember, this video is just for education purposes only. It's not for you to go out there and attack her on her TikTok page or anything of the sort. We want to learn so that, and I'm sure she's learned because she's deleted the video and she's come out to apologize, so that next time any other person who have the same thought, they'll learn not to do that because it's not good at all. So let's just dive right ahead and we'll come back with more.
We're watching democracy fall in real time. Fighting for your freedom is brutal. It's exhausting and it is dangerous. And freedom has never been won from the comfort of a couch. I hope that besides getting on your platform and yelling that we're not coming outside, that you're doing other things to help, like boycotting, mutual aid, grassroots organizing, and you're using your platform to encourage others to do the same thing. But make sure you're doing something and stop acting like your apathy is activism. We are not our ancestors. I used to hate that saying because it's disrespectful, but now I get it, because our ancestors were brave. They were built different. And some of y'all are built like your ancestors because a lot of y'all had cowards for ancestors. And it shows. My ancestors were way too badass. I already know that I do not measure up, even though I practically live outside. But we are living through our government being taken over. Hiding in fear won't save you and has never won a battle. And it will not win you your freedom either. So if you're too scared to come outside, fine. We heard you the first 50 times you said it. Cool, stay inside because the rest of us are working. But I will say that I believe that the people who put us in this mess need to be on the front lines. Latinos for Trump, Black MAGA, farmers for Trump, and of course, privileged white folks always ready to play savior, never ready to save themselves.
Okay, I think I figured out why Harmony and people is calling Black Americans cowards and carrying on because we not out there in the streets. They thought that we had no self-control. That's what they thought. They thought that when we was doing all that stuff, like in 2020 and Ferguson and Baltimore and stuff like that, and LA riots and stuff like that, it was just because we, that we're so easily provoked that as soon as somebody do something to one of us, we don't have any strategy, we don't have any type of thought process. We just go like an attack dog. They thought that we had no self-control, and us deciding to sit out and being all on one accord and being strategic and not reacting is showing a level of self-control that they did not realize that we had. They thought they didn't know about us. They thought that we are messing up their perception of us. They are having a crisis about our identity, about Black Americans' identity. Everybody is. Immigrants are having a crisis about our identity. White folks is having a crisis about our identity. They thought that they could count on us. They thought they knew us. And they never knew us because they didn't know our motivations. They didn't know what we were doing. They just saw the effects and they heard what the media said and they took it and ran with it. So even the people that was like, oh, we support you, this and that, the other thing, they thought that we were, justified, but they also thought we were uncontrollable. Because that's why they'd be like, be peaceful when you go out there. I know you got to go out there, but do it like this. Like, they think they treat us like we're children, like we are feral, unruly children. And now that we are showing them that we knew what we was doing the whole time. But now that we are showing them now, yeah, we're good. You go ahead and do that. They can't handle it. They can't handle it because it's messing up what they thought they knew about Black Americans. This whole year has been a mind fuck for them. Between us sitting out, between us delineating, we're really showing them in real time who we are. But we always knew, what they say, if you don't know, now you know.
Harmony, a biracial person, I can't remember the scope of it. I believe there is some Hispanic, is on here saying freedom has never won by staying inside. I'm sitting here going, what in the fucking hell do you think that you can get on here and tell people who live it, this person is not Black presenting in the slightest, that we're cowards? That freedom has never been won. When did we have that? I mean, I know we have it, but you know what I'm saying. When did we have it? Harmony. So, I am out of words because I cannot believe that someone would weaponize Black bodies against Black people just like they did prior to election in general. And now we've got homies, right? OGs that we're supposed to be talking about how we're cowards because we're not fighting. And then like trying to educate, trying to white-splain to us what's going on. And I'm going to tell you something that all that says to me is that we're doing the right thing, or people wouldn't be talking this mess. The more mess they talk, the more I know that the one thing we haven't tried is fighting for ourselves.
Black women are cowards for saying that this is not our fight and for sitting this one out. That's what one of your favorite content creators said on here. They have over 200,000 followers, and they basically said that Black women were, spineless. I think the word was spineless that she used for sitting this one out and for saying that this is not their fight. And as a Latina who has a community who's being impacted by this presidency, I'm going to give my 2 cents on that. It is no one's job to show up and protest with anybody. Black women did what they were supposed to do at the booths, what everybody else should have done at the booths. Now, I welcome anybody who stands in solidarity with the Latino community from home, out in the front lines, whatever you want to do. But to sit here and to feel so entitled to be mad at the Black community for not, or Black women for not showing up, when there is so many other communities that voted for this mess, you're mad at, like, you can be mad at so many other people, at so many other things, but you choose black women to be mad at. Why? Out of all people, why? You could be mad at the Asian community. You could be mad at the Latino community. Trust me, I've been mad. I've been mad. And to sit here as a person that's mixed and specifically point out black women, a little problematic. It gives entitlement. And you would think I would be on her side because I would want for more people to back up the Latinos and to be out there and protest because this is everybody's fight. But at the end of the day, it's no one's job to show up. If they want to, good for them. And if they don't, I respect it. Take your break, honey. Like, I'm not even mad at you.
That lady got on these apps and said that black women are cowards for not being out on the streets. Let me tell you something. As somebody raised by a black woman, aunties, grandmothers, church women, church mothers, and cousins, you shouldn't have fixed your mouth to say that. And you owe a general apology to that community. Because listen, when that group showed up for everybody else on November 5th, not just this past November 5th, but the one before that and that and that, right? For Biden Harris the last time, for Hillary the time before that, and so on and so forth, leading the way, voting for everybody's health and safety at the highest numbers, you shouldn't then come on these apps and say, well, they're not in the streets, and so therefore they are cowards. Because they were the bravest people in all those elections who stood up and said, I'm going to help everybody else. Even if some of these things don't help me, I'm going to help everybody else domestically and internationally. And so now to come on one of these apps and say they are cowards for not being on the front lines. Do you recognize that black women have been on the front lines since the moment we were put on this continent? They have been at the front lines. They have birthed under duress and forced chattel slavery. They have been at the front lines of all civil rights movements, even though because we're a patriarchy, that often gets overshadowed by the men of the movement. Do your history. Do your research into your history. You'll see that there have been women, black women, prominent in every civil rights movement in this country. Even the Black Panthers were sexist. And that had to be addressed. And then in New York, they started the Young Lords, right? Black and Puerto Rican women. Because you know what? They needed to do their own thing. You look at some of the dialogue in this country between black men and black women, the revolutionaries, the women were always more advanced and always positioning a larger picture and thinking beyond just black men or Latino men or Asian men or white men. They were looking at everything, and everybody through every one of those movements continued to let them down, including white women for suffrage. They cast them to the side. So to fix your mouth on one of these apps and say black women are cowards for not being on the front lines against ICE, January 6ers, the DEA, Homeland Security, the National Guard, and that racist in the White House and all of his acolytes who specifically want to harm and hurt black women, you are out of your mind and you owe an apology. You need to be as loud with your apology as you were with that mess you put out there.
So somebody got on this here app and said that black women are cowards because we weren't on the front lines against ICE. Child, please. One thing about black women, action is second nature to us. Baby, we know how to get activated. We move, we build, we organize, we heal. Baby, it's second nature. So the easiest thing for black women to do is to act. What's hard for us and what's been revolutionary is to rest. Because for generations, this world has told us, and we believed it, we weren't allowed to stop. That our worth was tied to what we could fix, who we could save, and how much pain we could carry. Struggle love. So when somebody gets on this here app and calls us cowards, that tells me more about their heart than ours. Especially when that said person claims to uplift marginalized groups. Baby, you can't uplift what you don't understand. Because if you did, you know that even the healer, the fixer, the nurturer needs a moment to breathe. And let's keep it a buck. What a lot of these folks really mean when they say black folks need to get on the front lines or black women need to get on the front lines is get back in your place. Be our shield. Be our mule. Absorb the pain so we don't have to. But baby, we got the message loud and clear. We saw how unappreciated we were, how undervalued we've been. And baby, we're not doing that anymore. That version of us is gone. So if resting, healing, and reclaiming our energy makes us cowards, baby, go off then, because we still resting until the ancestors say so. So black women, continue to drink your water, stay rooted, real, and knowledgeable, and mind your black business. Happy Black History 365, and I'll see you next time.
I'm here to that lady that said that black women is cowards because we not outside on the front line. First of all, we done been too many hashtags. Since I've been alive. At this point, homegirl, you think that we about to go out there with people that don't like us, that voted against us, talking about it's time, and if you keep saying that, how about you take your dog, your husband, your kids, whoever is in your house. Matter of fact, go get your great granny and your grandma and take the pet turtle. Invite your aunties. Get a couple of your nephew and nieces to go out there, and there goes the motherfucking crowd, okay? You have to be 10 kinds of fucking stupid, crazy, and slow to think that I'm going out there to be a hashtag for the fucking people that voted against me in my best interest. And then y'all only want us out there so it can be a spectacle. That's it, so y'all can blame us for everything. No, we're not doing that. And we not y'all lap dogs. Who told y'all that? We're not speaking for y'all. You speak for your damn self. Y'all speak for yourself when y'all talking shit to us. Y'all speak that when we in a fucking workplace and y'all all sticking together and taking fucking jobs and shit from us. Fucking us over when we the best in our fucking position. Coming against us just because we have a motherfucking respect for ourselves, and we're not about to allow you to disrespect us to our face. Lady, go get your people and take them out there with you. Everybody in your household. Talking about black women as coward. No, you the coward for coming up here and saying that, bitch. You just want a spectacle. Girl, go to hell.
The way that disrespect of black women is so normalized is very concerning to me. Let me explain what I mean. There is a woman who, I'm not going to mention her name, got here on this app, said black women are cowards if they are still sitting on their couch, not doing anything at this point in time in our country. When black women have been historically, and as of the last presidential election, the largest voting bloc against the fiasco that we're currently dealing with right now. Now you want to tell us what we need to do. When most black women were trained to be activist oriented at different levels based on us just needing basic rights. Basic. At a minimum, we know many black women are voting. Voting is a form of activism. We also know black women are seeking higher education, form of activism, educating yourself so that you can support yourself and pass on knowledge to those in your community. That's a form of activism. We know that black women have historically led the black church. That may not have been from the pulpit, but it definitely was from movements within the church that have overall benefited the black family and black people. Saying that black women are cowards in this moment is very short-sighted. It shows that you don't understand the black community. You don't understand black people. And you felt that your admonishment was based on an observation that was really developed. And really, you made a short-sighted opinion on the internet that wasn't asked for, and it certainly wasn't needed.
If you are still saying that you're not coming outside,
okay, so I'm going to interject here because I see two creators who I like and respect. Both of y'all. I like both of y'all. I respect both of y'all, but I don't like how this is going. And I'm going to be completely honest and say I don't like this from you, Harmony. Now, I ain't going to drag you and come at you like a lot of people are probably going to do, but I'm going to tell you that this is not it. You are speaking from a place of privilege in the way that you are speaking in this video. Now, you're making a lot of sense. You're making a lot of sense in some of the points you're making, but it is never going to be received in the way that you want it to be. And that's just the truth. Not every conversation is your conversation to have. Not every correction is your correction to make. Some conversations will be better received coming from that person's own community. And if that person's community is not correcting them, you can't take it upon yourself to do so. Because what are the odds that you in this video are just gonna strike some sort of change in that person and inspire them to do something different? No, you're only gonna piss them off and create chaos, which is what's happening here. So I personally feel like this was just not your conversation to have with this creator to begin with. But you are speaking from a place of privilege when you're talking about people not being about that life. So first of all, you're co-opting AAVE and using it against black people. And I don't know your lineage, but I know I see somebody who is not a black presenting woman. I see somebody who is not a black presenting person at all. So you do not share the same risk and the same struggle that somebody who is black presenting or Afrocentric featured would. And that is just the reality. So to tell people they are not about that life because they choose not to go out in the street, I really want us to stop having conversations like that. Because the reality is some of us are disproportionately targeted by lethal force, inside or outside. It doesn't matter. We are disproportionately targeted, but the reality is the minute black people get outside, blood is shed. Statistics will show us that. Our own eyes, history will show us that. So I don't like anybody talking down to black people choosing not to protest. And another thing, I don't care what your skin color is. I don't care what your lineage or ethnicity is. Everybody is going through it right now. Like, people are fighting. People are fighting the best that they can. Everybody might not be out in the streets. And that's fine. There are people who are behind the scenes doing their part. And this creator who you are talking shit to, she is regularly, consistently, loudly doing her part. So I cannot sit back and ignore you talking to her like that. And the biggest point I want to make is, can we please stop the struggle Olympics? Please. Can we please stop the I'm doing more than you? Can we please stop that? The reality is that everybody has a reason to be afraid right now. There are elected officials. There are people in high places of authority that are afraid right now. They're blowing up people's houses. They're assassinating people. Bullying, intimidating, and threatening. Racial violence, lynchings. Everybody has a reason to be afraid right now. It is completely normal that people would be afraid or not want to go outside. So no, you don't get to decide that they are somehow not about that life. You don't get to decide that they are somehow weaker or not good enough for doing the normal human thing by being afraid. Especially in this case, when this person is literally a part of that community. How is it helpful right now to the people in Chicago, to the people who are being impacted by these raids, to anybody going through it, any victim? How is it afraid for you to be checking a black woman for not being about that life? What is it gonna do but get you dragged? Especially when you are talking all of this shit, not from the streets, but from the comfort of your own home, from behind the screen of a cell phone.
Yeah, guys, there you have the video. Now, what this woman did, this biracial woman who is calling out this black woman a coward, is wrong at all means. Because this black woman did not do anything wrong. She did not attack anyone. She did not insult anyone. She did not call out anyone. She was talking to her own community, telling them that this is not our fight. We did our part on November 5th. We voted for a president. We voted for a woman who was gonna help each and every other person living in the United States of America. But because of all stereotypes and everything that had been pushed there, all the narratives that have been pushed there about this woman, people chose not to vote for her simply because they thought when they vote for her, it's like they are helping black Americans, or some thought that they are helping minorities and illegal immigrants in the United States of America. And now everything is actually unfolding right before their eyes. They're seeing that whatever they did is wrong, and people are coming out here even creating videos and regretting the choice they made on November 5th. People have to understand that black Americans did their part and they do not owe anyone anything. They've been doing their part all these issues and all these problems that they were actually begging you not to go ahead and vote for are issues that they've been facing for over 400 years. Black Americans created videos. They tried all they could. They were educating people on social media, on TikTok. They were trying every single thing they could do to help videos reach to so many people, just to tell them not to go ahead and vote against their own self-best interest. But what did most people do? They went on ahead and created videos calling them out, calling them woke, some insulting them, some attacking them, just simply because they're telling them not to go ahead and vote against their own self-best interest. I know when it comes to the Hispanic community, some men could not stand the idea of having a president woman in office. And if you listened to what this new administration and their leader, the narrative and everything that they were saying, it's not like they lied to any of you all. They promised that there was going to be a mass deportation. They talked about the tariffs. They talked about appealing Obamacare, because they made you believe that they're only keeping Obamacare because they want, or the Democrats want to help illegal immigrants with healthcare and all that, which it was just a simple task. You could have gone and Googled and researched and understand that people that are not American citizens and illegal immigrants cannot be able to have access to Obamacare. They cannot buy insurance under Obamacare. But most of you believed what this administration was saying. Now look what is happening in the country. There have been mass layoffs, and I've been seeing people calling out Black Americans, asking them, you should be out here fighting for us. You should all be out here helping us. But what did most of these people did when over 300,000 Black American women lost their jobs? What did most of them do when they got rid of DEI? Nothing. I haven't seen creators being very raged and angry about what's been happening to the Black community with the new administration. But now you all want to come out here and call out Black Americans just simply because they're choosing peace. You've gotten used to having Black Americans out there protesting and fighting for each and everyone else. And you guys felt entitled, and you all were expecting that every time there is an issue, every time that you need to fight for something, every time that you need to call out politicians, every time that you need to protest, you got entitled and thought that you always be having Black Americans out there. But you all made it clear that there is no single time that you ever backed up Black Americans on November 5th, because Black Americans were begging you, they were asking you, they tried all they could to talk to you people not to go ahead and vote for whatever is happening right now. They warned you all. They went through the Project 2025 booklet and simplified it for each and every other person to understand. But you all ignored this because there were tons of Black creators that were actually posting videos and educating people on what Project 2025 entailed. But most people didn't even bother to go through those videos. Most people didn't even bother to listen to what those people had to say, because simply all these things that are gonna be happening and what this administration have and all these policies are only gonna affect Black Americans. When it comes to the Caucasian people, they believe that after the illegal immigrants have been deported, Black Americans will be getting back to work in the fields, and it didn't bother them because at the end of the day, they're not the ones who are going to work in the fields. But right now, that is not the case, and people are feeling betrayed. But you all betrayed yourselves. Black Americans haven't betrayed anyone. They all told you what was gonna happen. The new administration told you what was gonna happen. They talked about the tariffs. They talked about backing or doing away with DEI. They talked about illegal immigration. And there have been tons of Caucasian people who've lost their jobs because of what happened to DEI. You've seen what has been happening to veterans because of DEI. You see, so many of these things that were actually getting done away with, people thought that they were only benefiting Black Americans. And honestly speaking, something like DEI, Black Americans were the last people to benefit from this, because number one beneficiaries of DEI was actually Caucasian women. The Hispanic community was also benefiting from this when you talk about diversity. But most people believe that DEI was there just to help unqualified Black people. And when some of these Caucasian women or the Hispanic women or the men would see themselves in the same space, working in the same office or doing the same thing as Black people, they would look at them like they're not qualified and they are not supposed to be there, until they started losing their jobs and realized that, oh, wait, DEI didn't mean hiring unqualified black people just because we want diversity at workplace, just because we want diversity in political offices. No, that was not the case, and most people did not understand that. And this is why right now you're seeing people calling out black Americans, people being angry just simply because black Americans are choosing peace over protest. And you all have made it clear to black Americans that you don't care about what they're going through. You don't care about what they have to say as long as it's not affecting you. And so many of you are right now out here creating videos and showing and pretending like you care because it's affecting your own community. I don't know why you would be bothered simply because black Americans are saying that they're not going out there to fight. Why don't you yourselves go out there to fight? Why are you bothered that black Americans are choosing not to be on the streets protesting? You all can protest as well. Or do you have to have black Americans to be out there on the streets for these protests to make sense? Do you have to have black Americans out there for these leaders to listen to you or for your agendas to be pushed? No, you don't need that. You can simply do that. But you all want black Americans to be out there on the forefront line so that they get closed behind bars, so that they go to jail. No, black Americans are not trying to do that again. They've been doing that for over 400 years, and now it's loud and clear that no one cares about what they are going through. So why would they even bother themselves with whatever is happening in the United States of America, whatever is now affecting other communities right now? It's finally catching up with everyone else, and right now is the moment that people are actually getting a clear image of what has been happening to the black Americans in the United States of America. When you all have been out there ignoring them, when they've been calling you out for help, when they've been asking you to not go ahead and vote against your own self-best interest, but you did that and you never cared. You all have to understand one thing that black Americans have been telling you over and over again, that protest is not free for black Americans. When other people protest, it's called activism. But when black people protest, they call it rioting. When other people get arrested, it's called civil demonstration. But when black people get arrested, it's criminal behavior. They are criminals and they criminalize everything about black Americans. So you creating videos out there telling black Americans not to stay at home, not to fall for guilt-tripping tactics, and you all think they are weak and cowards. It's crazy. Because you actually need to sit down and think about all this. And this is the reason as to why this woman had to delete this video, or the reason as to why she had to take down this video. And the reason as to why people actually, she said that her friends, or I don't know who, called her out and they asked her to delete the video because they all know that whatever she was saying was a lie and was wrong at all means. So you all have been entitled and always expecting black Americans to clean after chaos in the United States of America. And now that this time is not happening, you all want to be angry at black Americans. Black people have the right to be angry at each one of you in the United States of America because they warned you. Can you imagine if I warned you not to go to the other side of the town and you decide to go and something bad happens to you? And now you want to come back and blame it on me as if I didn't warn you, because this is exactly what is happening. Black Americans warned you all not to go ahead and vote for this administration, but you never listened, and now you're all blaming them for what is happening. Black Americans are not the ones in office. They are not the ICE agents. They are not the ones who are actually deporting people. What black Americans are simply doing is sitting everything out because it's not their fight. I don't expect to see anyone else trying to come out here and call black Americans, because you remember you're calling them woke just simply because they're trying to warn you all not to go ahead and vote against their own self-best interest. Even you as a normal human being sit down and start creating a video calling out black Americans. I'm sure there is something that you think about, am I doing the right thing? But you still choose to go on ahead and post this video trying to get black Americans agitated or trying to rage bait black Americans. But this time they're actually not falling for that. This time they're not trying anything that is putting themselves in danger, that is putting themselves behind closed does, that is putting themselves in bars, that is getting their lives taken away by police or anything of this sort. I don't know what you all think, but I would really love to know what your thoughts or what your take is on the comment section. I really do appreciate your love and support on this channel. Make sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and until the next episode, bye.